click off this video because you see me wearing this sweatshirt, so you think I'm a clown and you think these power rankings are going to be done by a clown. Well, I may be a clown, but I'm an unbiased clown. So hopefully these power rankings aren't that bad. I tried my best. So coming in at number 32, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They put up 0 points versus the Titans. Lawrence had 4 interceptions in that game, and it is very clear this team needs a new head coach. Coming in at number 31, I have the Houston Texans. They lost versus the Seahawks, but Davis Mills put up not terrible numbers. I mean, he played better than Lawrence in my opinion. At number 30, I have the Detroit Lions. They lost versus the Broncos. Both sides of the ball did not play well in this game. Offense only scored 10 points and the defense gave up 38 points. At number 29, I have the New York Jets. So I don't want to overreact about Zach Wilson's numbers because it is still his rookie season and he was out a few games. But they are a little concerning in this loss versus the Saints. This past weekend, he was 19 of 42 with only 202 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. At number 28, I have the New York Giants. Offense is terrible. Justin Herbert made this defense look silly, and yeah, they lost. At number 27, I have the Chicago Bears. Nice try versus the Packers, I guess. I mean, honestly, the first half was great, but unfortunately, the game of football has 2 halves. At number 26, I have the Carolina Panthers. So they lost versus the Falcons, and the QB situation is a little messy for this team. Both Cam and PJ Walker played in this game, and both of them didn't play great at all. At number 25, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They got the win versus the Texans. A win's a win, but honestly, this isn't the most impressive win. It's not a win where you're like, oh yeah, this team is back, because honestly, the Seahawks are probably not making the playoffs. At number 24, I have the Atlanta Falcons. They won versus the Panthers this past weekend, and they are quietly still in this playoff race. At number 23, I have the New Orleans Saints. So they got a much needed win versus the Jets this past weekend. Taysom Hill, his numbers were definitely better this past weekend than they were Thursday night versus the Cowboys. At number 22, I have the Las Vegas Raiders, and let's be honest, the Raiders just got embarrassed. That's the word you got to use to describe this game. They got embarrassed by the Chiefs. The score was 35-3 at halftime. At number 21, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. They were on a bye, so they just stay at number 21. At number 20, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they lost versus the Vikings. I mean, yeah, they almost did come back in that game, but it just seemed like that game was over at halftime. Even though they made, a good comeback, it wasn't the best game for the Steelers. And that Chase Claypool celebration when they were trying to spike the ball, that was just bad. At number 19, I have the Minnesota Vikings. So Dalvin Cook dominated in their win versus the Steelers. He had over 200 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in his first game back since a dislocated shoulder. That is just absolutely crazy. At number 18, I have the Washington football team. So they lost versus the Cowboys this past weekend. It seemed like this game was over in the third quarter, but they actually did make a comeback and made it a 1-score game late in the fourth quarter. Hopefully, Heineke's knee will allow him to play this upcoming weekend because they really do need him. Even though he didn't look great in this game, I think he was a little off after that knee got injured, but or he had like an injury earlier in the game too, and like Allen came in for one play, but they need Heineke to play the way he had been playing for the past few games for this team to make the playoffs. At number 17, I have the Cleveland Browns. So they won a close one versus the Ravens. Even though Lamar left the game early, it was not a dominant win for the Browns. At number 16, I have the Miami Dolphins. They were on a bye, so I have them at the same spot. At number 15, I have the Denver Broncos. So a very dominant win for this team versus the Lions. The offense put up 38 points, and their run game is looking really good. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. What a duo. Might be the best duo in the NFL, maybe behind Zeke and Pollard, but yeah, really great duo. And Justin Simmons, he had such a great tribute to Demaryius Thomas after his interception, putting the ball on the number 88. Literally, it gave me chills. I mean, rest in peace, Demaryius Thomas. I really still can't believe it. At number 14, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. So they lost in overtime versus the 49ers. And it looks like this Bengals team might be going a little cold again. I don't know. This team just seems very streaky. Does anyone else feel like this Bengals team is very streaky? They're either really good or really bad. I mean, they did lose to the Jets earlier this season. But, yeah. At number 13, I have the San Francisco 49ers back to having a winning record after their win versus the Bengals. And if the season ended today, the 49ers would be in the playoffs. At number 12, I have the Indianapolis... sorry. Tongue twister. At number 12, I have the Indianapolis Colts. That's not a tongue twister. I was just trying to talk too fast. But yeah, they were on a bye. They're just staying at number 12. At number 11, I have the Buffalo Bills. They were competitive versus the Buccaneers, but they lost. This team has been really, really, really inconsistent this season, and that really concerns me heading into the final stretch of the season. At number 10, I have the Baltimore Ravens. So they lost versus the Browns, like I said, and they really need Lamar to be healthy to make a playoff run, because a lot of games this season, Lamar has, led them on a comeback or led them, to win the game on a final drive or something. So yeah, they really need Lamar to be healthy to make a playoff run. At number 9, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. Defense and offense both played really well in their win versus the Giants, and Justin Herbert had one of the craziest throws, if not the craziest throw of the season so far in this game. Absolutely insane, unreal. Didn't look real, didn't look like a human arm threw it. At number 8, I have the Tennessee Titans. Nice win versus the Jaguars. They held them to 0 points, and that's what, I would consider a good win versus the Jaguars. When you hold them to 0 points, you're like, okay, that's impressive, because beating the Jaguars isn't super impressive, to be honest, but holding them to 0 points, you're like, that's a solid job. I appreciate that effort. And this team just needs to continue to get healthy. They have so many players who are injured right now, but they just got to get healthy as the season comes to a close. At number 7, I have the Los Angeles Rams, a huge, much needed win versus the Cardinals, versus a division rival, the Cardinals, especially considering Jalen Ramsey did not play. This is a really, really big win for them, and they held Kyler to 0 touchdowns, which is super impressive. At number 6, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons. This man is insane. This man is unreal. Did you know this man is a rookie? Well, he's obviously going to win Rookie of the Year. That is just like a lock. He cannot play another snap this season, and he would still be Rookie of the Year. He might even be Defensive Player in the Year. Honestly, if he continues to play kind of, not even totally, just kind of like the way he played versus Washington, he's Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. I feel like, is single-handedly making this defense so much better, because think about how bad this defense was last year. He's just unreal. Defense, like I said, it's looking really good. A lot of it thanks to Micah Parsons, but, DeMarcus Lawrence is back and stuff. They're getting healthy on defense too. I think this offense just needs to play a little better. I think this offense still looks a little off. Still looks like they're not clicking. I know CD and Amari were out, and now Pollard is out. And yeah, CD and Amari have been back now, but I think Pollard being out really, really affected this offense this weekend. At number 5, I have the New England Patriots. I know everyone is going to be mad at me because I moved them down one spot while they were on a bye. I'm sorry, Bart. You asked me not to move them down because they were on a bye, but I just had to do it one spot. Just for this week. It's fine. It's cool. Don't worry about it, Patriots fans. Don't worry. It's cool. It's just for 1 week. You're on a bye. It's cool. Being in the top 5, it's hard to stay there if you're not playing, because, a lot of good teams. At number 4, I have the Arizona Cardinals. So they lost versus the Rams. It was a pretty close game because of, that recovered onside kick that really made it a game in the final seconds. But I don't know. The Cardinals just looked off in this game. They looked off. They looked weird. I don't know how to describe it, because the stats weren't necessarily terrible, except for maybe Kyler's stats. But I think that's part of the reason why they looked off. Kyler had no rushing touchdowns or passing touchdowns, and that's just weird. I don't know. That just seems weird to me, because Kyler usually just does it all. So that was just weird that he had no touchdowns at all. They just didn't look really in sync when I was watching the game. I don't know. It was weird, but I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine. You lost to a division rival who was also a good team. At number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. So some people might be saying, hey, you put this team way too high. They shouldn't be at number 3. But listen, they have won 6 games in a row, and this finally looks like the Chiefs team that we saw last season. They have been consistently good for a while now. If you remove the beginning part of the season, they look exactly like the team we saw last season. They are looking very, very in sync and on track right now. And I really trust their experience heading into the final stretch of the season. So that's why I'm putting them at number 3. At number 2, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I gotta be honest, I almost did not put this team at number 2. I actually almost put the Chiefs at number 2, but I thought people wouldn't like that. But listen, they're a good team. They're a great team. I expected them to be a little more dominant versus the Bills, but second half wasn't great for this team. But that's okay, because, they still beat them, and they're still one of the best teams in the league, and Tom Brady is still a GOAT and playing out of his mind. At number 1, I have the Green Bay Packers. I almost said the Green Bay Buccaneers, to be honest. That's why I kind of said it weird. But we got the Green Bay Packers at number 1. Hey, Packers, welcome back to the number 1 spot on my power ranking. I hope you're enjoying your stay here for this week. Maybe you'll be here next week as well. They won versus the Bears. Rodgers, he balled out in that game, but they are now the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I love that because I want to see, a snow playoff game. And obviously, we're not going to get that in Arizona. That is one thing I know for sure. We're not going to get a snowy playoff game in Arizona. So that is it for this video, guys. Make sure you drop a thumbs up. Let me know who's in your top 5 heading into week 15. And that is it, guys. Peace.